Welcome back, everybody. I'm Casey Campbell with Great Lakes Post, and we're pleased to be once again joined by Mason Maggio. How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you, Casey?
Good, man. Okay, remind everybody what you do, like what you race and all that.
Right. So this year I'm driving the number 12 limited late model for Light Motorsports at Hickory Motor Speedway for their weekly series.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that full time so far. Right now we have 2 races to go for the season. So right now we're sitting third in points very comfortably. So just finished up the Bobby Isaac Memorial last weekend. Big race for that track. And like I said, we got 2 more races to go and just going trophy hunting.
Yeah. So how is this, since we last talked to you, how has it been going so far?
It's been up and down. You know, we've been a little bit inconsistent lately. Just some of it is with results, some of it is with just, you know, putting the pieces together. Which, I mean, it's going to happen in racing. It's part of the sport. It's one of the very many challenges that comes with it. So, you know, we had a couple weeks where we finished second back to back. One of them we barely snagged, and then the other one we had a good car, but mistakes were made. Some of it was on my end, some of it was just, you know, the car fading or just certain situations that, you know, maybe could have played out a little bit differently if I did something different or the team did something different. But, you know, hey, nothing wrong with second, especially with the point situation that we had. Consistency was going to be key, but you know, last weekend at the Bobby Isaac Memorial, it wasn't our greatest performance. You know, we finished 8th and felt like we could have had a top 3 by far, maybe even, you know, a 4th or 5th place finish, which is fine. But, you know, it's part of it. You know, we just missed it a little bit, and it's part of the sport. It's part of the challenge. If you can't handle the challenge of the sport, then, you know, it's not for you. So, you know, like I said, it's been up and down since we last talked, but hey, it's part, you know, you just got to keep on moving forward. Like I said at the beginning of the show, 2 races to go. So at this point, we're going to just try to go chase some trophies.
All right. How do you handle frustration?
You know, it can come in many different ways. You know, there's certain times where frustration can, you know, sometimes be a little bit fairly easygoing. Like, I feel like there's different types of frustrations that people don't necessarily understand or comprehend as much. One of those frustrations just being like, you know, a little bit ticked off in a sense. You know, you don't really want to, and it's a sort of anger as well. There's parts like that where you got to just kind of take time to yourself, cool off, kind of contemplate, you know, what just happened. And then there's also certain types of frustration where, you know, you're kind of not mad, but it's a little bit of a disappointing frustration. So, you know, like I said earlier in the show, when we finished second, I think 2 weeks in a row it was just a little bit of a disappointing, frustrating, because it was more of like mistakes on my end that I think I could have prevented. But, you know, there's different types to it. You know, there's different ways to handle it. I feel that I've personally experienced that have gone both ways. In the beginning of my career, I did not handle frustration very well, but eventually I kind of came to a point where I was like, look, this is what I need to do to control myself and just, you know, take a couple deep breaths and do what I need to do to, you know, debrief with the team or talk about, hey, that this is what happened. This is what I did. This is what the car did, or this is how the race played out. So it's just a whole bunch of different stuff that was, you know, very interesting to contemplate on how to handle it. But for the most part, for me, usually when I'm frustrated, I just go in the trailer and, you know, take a couple moments, you know, rehydrate, and just kind of think of, you know, what exactly just happened on track, because everything happens so fast that sometimes you don't comprehend it and you just jump right to conclusion. So, you know, there's different types of ways to handle it, but I think overall handled them fairly well. The disappointment one is more of just, it's things you could do better. It's more of motivation, the disappointing type of frustration than it is, being angry. But the anger is more of just go in the trailer, take 10, 15 minutes to hydrate and take some deep breaths, contemplate what happened. And then when you're done, go talk to the team about it or go talk to your competitors about it.
How do you mentally prepare for a race?
Mentally, it's a good question. I'm not really asked that a whole lot, but mentally, it's more of just, standing off to the side a little bit every once in a while, or just kind of sitting in the car for a second, thinking, how is it all going to play out? There's times where it can get a little bit anxious, especially my first late model race. I was very, very anxious. Heart was pounding at a rate I can't even think of. And then there was also a time where, handling that, just, okay, I'm about to go do 35, 50 laps at Hickory Motor Speedway. So it's all about taking deep breaths, calming yourself, just remembering what you got to do. That's another huge thing. And just trying to ease your mind. That's huge for a race car driver because it can make or break a driver. Funny enough, I listened to a podcast recently. I can't remember who was hosting it, but it was a podcast, and they had Dawson Cram, who's obviously driving in the Camping World Truck Series for his family-owned team, and he was talking about how nervous he was mentally for his first truck race, where he was grabbing onto the steering wheel so hard. He had blisters, and his nerves were, very shaken up from his first truck start. So, and then he talked about how he, mentally prepared himself after that, and how it's made him a little bit of a better race car driver. So, some of the ways that Dawson had talked about his well-being and mentally preparing for races is something I even looked at last weekend at the Bobby Isaac Memorial Race at Hickory. So, just deep breaths, staying calm, staying collected, and just making sure that you're giving it 110% every time you get out onto the racetrack, and know that you put in all the effort that you could.
So what is your goals for the next 2 weeks? Just kind of going through, what do you want to do to kind of close this thing out?
Well, last weekend at the Bobby Isaac, when we finished 8th, that kind of hurt us in points a little bit. We were pretty close there with the other two competitors, but after that, we ended up losing some points, unfortunately. So at this point in the season, I'm sitting comfortably in 3rd. 4th is really far back. So, if anything, I'd have to miss the last 2 races of the season in order for 4th place to catch me. So I'm in a pretty comfortable position in 3rd. But at this point, I'm not worried about points. I'm more worried about, let's just go try to get some trophies. That's what we're here to. That's what I'm here for. That's for sure, is to, continue to rack and stack trophies, and, continue to put my name out there more and more, as a driver that's capable of winning races, and for, future car owners, for hopefully a higher level of racing as well. So, just going out and chasing trophies these next 2 weeks, and that's all we'll care about. But I'm not going to approach it any differently. Just give it 110%, do everything that you can on the racetrack, and minimize mistakes, so I can hopefully collect a trophy or 2 by the end of this season.
Absolutely. All right, Mason, always good to catch up with you, buddy. Thanks for coming on and talking with us, and good luck the next 2 weeks, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.